Our good friends over at the Epoch Times is asking a very important question, and it's something that I like to tackle on Fridays. We kind of missed last Friday, and I feel a little bit bad about this, but I seen this article, and I seen this picture here, and you know what the first thing that came to mind was? Healthy masculinity. I doubt it. I want to see what they're putting forward as what their opinion on healthy masculinity. I'd imagine it's probably going to follow along the lines of build better betas, something that we're trying to tear down on here on the channel. Let's see what their opinion about what is healthy masculinity, because those guys right there, they probably know a lot about masculinity in those steam showers that they all share together with or without towels. I'd imagine that they're probably sipping on their soy lattes, reading their good books that are out there about how men should carry responsibility, and then women will just come along on our journey of self-improvement. Sure thing, pal. But anyways, healthy masculinity is when men flourish first for themselves, then for their families, posterities, and communities. The first line, not that bad. A man embodying healthy masculinity knows who he is. I'm not opposed to that first sentence at all. Nope. The first, I guess, paragraph. Okay, the first sentence is totally fine as well. Men flourish first for themselves. Yes, chase excellence first and foremost. Then the women will follow. Then you can have your family. Then you can have your successful family, if that's the life you wish to choose. Or otherwise, the bitches will follow. Okay? Focus on yourself first. Build yourself up. Money, muscles, game, hold, frame. Don't be looking after chicks. Chicks should always be a complement to your life, never the focus. Okay, but they don't say anything in that. That's just my own extra stuff on top. He is physically strong, or healthy and strong, yes, and should always be pursuing that goal as well. You are never at peak optimal health. You can always get better. Okay, he is pursuing and developing his skills and capabilities to make him more competent and able to take action. Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to this. Okay, so far so good. He has a sense of agency, drive, and desire to make his mark on the world. Yes, okay. Not just to have the world make its mark on him, based. He is someone who exists in a world where it is realistically possible for him to develop his potential. The world is not going to afford you that. You have to create it for yourself, okay? Fulfill his own ambitions and leave a posterity and a legacy for the future. Fundamentally, that's what every man wants. They want to leave a legacy, okay? Whether it's through offspring or whether it's through an impact on the greater society. Every man wants to make his mark on a future he will never see, okay? There's an old Greek proverb, right? And it's bend over and grab your ankles. No, it's the hope of every man. I'll paraphrase it because I don't have it specifically down, but every man hopes, or a successful society, I think that's what it is, okay? A successful society plants a seed for a tree with the hopes that it grows strong so future generations can sit under its shade. It's something like that. Got the gist of it. And it's much more complex and probably a little bit more eloquent than the way I put it. Basically, you want to make a mark on the future. You want to leave a dent in the future's ass, okay? There's no one-size-fit-all descriptions of healthy masculinity. I disagree, but all right. And thus a healthy man, but identity, actual health, development of potential or potentialities, yes, genuine accomplishment in a real world, and legacy are the core. Yeah, no, exactly. And the little convenient breakdown of money, muscles, game, and frame, okay, much more advanced people in this sphere than I came up with that phraseology of sorts, but it's basically broke down there. Okay, money, you act on your potential, okay, you develop your skills, okay, you seize on opportunities, that's the money part, okay, muscles, okay, you work on yourself, you work on your health, you work on making yourself the most presentable human being so that you look good and you feel good, okay, because regardless, there are some people out there, oh, if you're not attractive, you're never gonna get the women that are out there. I'm only 5'6", and that's constantly what you focus on, stupid. Anyways, but no, I'll just never get those chicks because I'm that 6 feet tall and I'm ugly. Well, good chances are you're also a fat, disgusting mess that that constantly thinks in that same circular logic that, well, I'm not 6 feet tall, so I'm never going to get the chicks or anything like that. Instead of going to the gym and trying to make yourself the best human being that you can possibly put forward, dressing appropriately, okay, not smelling. How about simple things like that? There is never a step small enough that you can't take in order to improve yourself. So that's everything that's in there when it comes to muscles, okay? Muscles, yes, important. Get your ass into the gym, obviously, but then also improve your outward package completely, okay? And then game, of course, encompasses your personality at large, okay? Like they state there, that's your legacy. That's everything else that's not described and what men are naturally drawn to. Men are naturally drawn towards work, accomplishments, tangible, actionable goals, okay? But your game, how do you navigate those possibilities? How do you navigate those opportunities out there, okay? Focus on your communication, because there's so many awful people that are out there that don't know how to talk, don't know how to listen, okay? People just listen for their opportunity to jump into the conversation because you got this sweet talking point that you have, instead of learning and reacting to who you're talking to, because a conversation is a two-way street. It's just not an opportunity for you to sound off on whatever you want to talk about, okay? If you want to do that, buy a dog. And then frame, of course, just to redefine that once again, that is all of the stuff that is necessary, the money muscles game, okay? Frame, your masculine frame at all times that is uncompromised, that regardless, okay, whenever somebody interacts with you, they are stepping into your frame, okay? And the way you frame everything is how you're presenting yourself, okay? Because yes, there's not a one size fits all when it comes to, you know, your outward appearance, okay? Everybody has a different job that's out there. You have different hobbies, you have different skills that are out there. You have a different vocabulary, you have a different vocal intonation when you are physically presenting and when you're having a public speech. But you do it within the confines of being a man, a successful, good, well-intentioned man. And that's what's important. That's probably the most important of all that stuff, because you're constantly working on all that stuff. But frame is like a table where you put your accomplishments, where you continue to build your 3 other sectors right there, okay? You wouldn't have a place to store your accomplishments without that table. So frame is 1,000% necessary. Men embody this through many roles and archetypes, okay? We can think about the explorer, the settler, the warrior, the scientist, the philosopher, the artist, the builder, the king, the priest, the monk, the trader, the craftsman, the father, etc. Yeah, and you should be a little bit of all of those things to be a well-rounded individual, a engaging individual, okay? Some men embody healthy masculinity through extremes. Yes, of course. The hero, the world-class athlete, the saint, someone on a quest for greatness or pursuing the audacious idea, a man facing an extreme trial or difficulty or even death. Yeah, no, exactly. But it's weird, right? Because you can be a very masculine figure. Here's a perfect example, and somebody who I might have referenced on the main channel, but it fits perfectly right here. Russell Wilson. That dude is a great quarterback. He's going to do tremendous things with the Denver Broncos in this upcoming season, right? He won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, okay, the first championship that team has ever had, and the first championship brought to Seattle since the Supersonics and the times. But off the field, in the presence of his second-hand wife, that dude is the subservient in that relationship, and after he's retired, that relationship is over in an instant. You trust me on that one, because he is not a man at all times. Oh, he's the baddest dude on the field when he's the quarterback for an NFL franchise. But outside of that, you can see that it's exactly played out this way with what probably, for my pick of the 2004 NBA draft class, the best player on or from that draft class, Dwayne Wade. Bad dude on the court. Absolutely tremendous. First ballot Hall of Famer for a reason when he goes in. That should be pretty quickly here. But anyways, he was unstoppable on the court and the only guy of that draft class to be the head of a team and not needing a super team around him. Sure, he had Shaq come in for the 2006. I think that's what that was. But that was like 75% Shaq. Let's be completely honest here. He led that team to victory. because he was the alpha on the court. There was nobody even close, okay? On the other side of the ball, you had Dirk Nowitzki and his friends. That was a bad team, okay, coming out of a horrific West, okay? Horrific as in tough, not like horrific as in the rest of the East that got there, okay? But God, what a time. The NBA was so good at that time, but now what has it become? I don't know, just kind of the no man allowed league. But anyways, you see instances of this all the time, okay? People being absolutely the pinnacle of their given or of their chosen vocation. But then when it comes to intersexual dynamics, okay, dealing with a partner, they just can't quite find the frame, okay? That's why I said it is essential. It is the most important, okay? Anyways, back to this. So far, so good. But others embody it through ordinary rhythms of life, establishing a trade, obtaining a household of one's own, building a family, raising children to exceed his own accomplishments, or leaving an inheritance. Yeah, exactly. That's all about, being a man for sure, leaving a legacy. And you should be doing that at all times in all of these avenues. Most men embody it as part of a group of other men. Yeah, you should have a very good, community of men alongside you. Not like that, okay? You should have a strong network of men who are as reliable as your aspirations are as well, okay? Men who are going to hold you accountable for whenever you screw up, but then at the same time, always want to better you, not try to drag you down, okay? They won't sell you out for a woman, okay? They won't backstab you. These guys are hard to find, but when you find them, they're invaluable because they're also winners. I'll tell you the sad truth about being an actual stand-up man. Most of the men who you'll come in contact with aren't worth anything, really. They're just kind of worker bees. They just go about their day. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them, but then at the end of the day, they're more likely to fill up your ear with complaints about their job that they hate or their wife that they're no longer attracted to because she gained 50 pounds and that she's just going to nag him to death whenever he gets home. And he'll have a couple of hours to just sit around and, he might have to reheat dinner at the end of the day and he can go sit in his man cave in the house that he bought for his wife with his kids who don't respect him. And they've just been sold, that's the manly life. Oh, I'm just going to raise the kids and I'm going to be a good man. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to cash in my 401k and then die within 2 years of retirement. That's your average man. Don't be the average man. The average man sucks. Be the exceptional man. Be the 20% of men that are out there. And if you find yourself in company with other 20% men, try to become the 10% man. Try to become the 5% man, okay? Always be aiming up. Don't be aiming across. Don't be aiming down. Be aiming up. You have a choice in life. Make the right choice. Healthy masculinity understands the identity and legacy a man inherited and seeks to extend it in turn to engage a praiseworthy competition with one's ancestors. And it has been attributed to Tacticus. All right, a man's legacy is most often his family, descendants, his community, his tribe. Yeah, you're always going to be compared to that, okay? It's your responsibility to supersede that at all costs. He seeks to create his legacy, to build it up and to even sacrifice himself at times. I would say that's primary to what a man brings to any relationship. A man worth his salt, of course. He'd be, especially in a romantic sense, right? If you're in a relationship with your given partner, your side of the equation as a man is to provide and protect. And if that requires you, if somebody's breaking into your house, you arm yourself and you make sure that that threat is eliminated, even if that comes at the cost of your life. If you're walking down the street with your loved one and somebody snatches that purse, you go and get it, okay? Now, if she's speaking out of turn and causing a fuss, she's on her own, but it should never come to that point. But anyways, that's not the point of this story. But anyways, no, you are required as a man to sacrifice yourself in times, okay? Like they're saying here. I don't necessarily disagree. I just think that this is kind of fluffy talk that requires a little bit more specific clarification. Okay. But while sacrifice for the sake of legacy is part of healthy masculinity, it isn't reducible to that. Okay. The man who blots out his own well-being, ambitions, and fulfillment for the sake of others isn't exhibiting healthy masculinity. Very based. I am pleasantly surprised by this article so far. A couple of nitpicks, but overall, yeah, exactly. The whole idea, I'm self-sacrificing. I'm staying up late just for you. I'm moving because you want to go to college and I'm here to help you out. Yeah, at the detriment of your own life, you are going to be left in an instant, and you're just going to be getting a text message, well, she's put on the spit roast, dude. You aren't helping yourself. You aren't helping your case at all. Just get over it. It's over. How this plays out varies by time and place. In Ukraine today, the means men fight to save their country. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're there to save their country. A lot of people, including all the men, aren't allowed to leave. So, yeah, even if they don't like that corrupt leader who's too busy taking selfies with all the world leaders that are coming over and saying, wow, this is the nicest war that I've ever attended, rather. Oh, sure. Anyways, less about that, the better. It looks quite different in contemporary America. Sooner rather than later, just wait for all the food shortages to hit these shores. But again, just to circle back to that prior point, okay, the means of men to save their country. Men are still conscripted, okay? It comes down to this very basic fact. Men are the disposable sex. Women are the vulnerable sex. That's why men are sent off to war, okay? That's their responsibility. That's their duty. It used to come with a little bit of authority at the back end, but that's all been stripped away. That's why fewer people are behind the draft or the idea of serving their country, because they have very little say in the process. And if you take a look at certain things that are happening as well. Anyways, less said about that. Don't want to get the channel struck a little bit too much, but I think you know where I might be going with that. But here too is the possibility for 21st century American men to follow the path of healthy masculinity, even though in today's world it is in many ways radically different from the past. It's still not. It's just society and the fact that for about the better part of 60 years, in on or around 1965, we kind of transitioned wholly to a feminine-centric society. So yeah, the same basal instinct and the same stuff that worked for millennia beforehand, that's still at the forefront, and that's how healthy men should probably approach. Just the means and methods might have changed a little bit, but at the central part of all of this stuff, at the core of human beings, not much has really changed. Just the methods, okay? Because there wasn't Instagram DMs back in the cut, okay? Anyway, so here's a little list. Let's see if we find any faults in this, shall we? Self-confidently to be an American man without being debilitated by attacks that called your identity or its value in question. Yeah, no, you don't need to care what randos on the internet say. Yep. Pursue health and fitness, such as eating right, exercising, and avoiding drugs and excessive alcohol consumption. Yep. Give up what your sedative is, okay? Then you will be amazed how much you can accomplish with the freed up time and the freed up finances that you get from that, okay? And then, 75 to 80% of people, specifically men, are overweight. So you're already putting yourself in rarefied air if you just aren't a fat slob. Imagine that. Develop skills and competence. Yep, exactly. Which involve starting simple by making minor home repairs or a more audacious move like learning a new language. Yeah, no, exactly. Everybody has the same 24 hours in every day. How you make the most of it, and that's totally up to you. You can do that, and thanks to the fact that information is now disseminated faster, better, and more accessibly than it ever has throughout history, there's no excuse for you to be fat and stupid. Strive for greater degrees of excellence in what you do. Yeah, no, exactly. You can always get better. Maximize your strengths, hide your weaknesses. Develop and pursue your own goals and ambitions in life, such as starting a business, having a home in the country, or revitalizing your hometown. Start with yourself first. Don't be trying to take on esoteric ideas that you don't really have direct control over. Start with yourself, then start to move out from there, okay? Men don't need to apologize for having their own goals and things that are important to them. Yeah, exactly. Just make them actionable to yourself, something you have direct control over. Find other men for friendship and common endeavors, a band of brothers. Yeah, no, you just have to make sure that they're quality men, okay? Because that's a problem. It's a tough find out there. There are resources out there. Pursue and build a family, understanding that a degree of difficulty is much harder today. Yep, because your average woman, we've been talking a lot and throwing men under the bus quite a bit, but your modern woman, oh, she's terrible. She's awful. She's horrible. I tear her down constantly on the main channel. Think of Amber Heard. You might think that that's extreme. different degrees, that's a modern woman focused on the outward appearance, but then not at all concerned with repairing or taking responsibility for the rotten inner core. Okay, accountability? What's that? The victim? Oh, that's constantly me, but don't you dare call me the victim. So yeah, just don't be throwing it down and dropping seed for just any random broad out there. Screen thoroughly, okay? You want like a prescription out there? I'll just drop you a little pill here for a moment. Not until you're 35, at least. Men don't hit their prime until they're about 35 or 36, okay? So play the field wisely. That's only, of course, if you manifest on your potential, constantly seeking some form of excellence in everything that you do. That's what you should strive for. Excellence, not perfection. So yeah, again, that's just one of those TradCon talking points. Oh, be a rebel, start a family. With the modern woman, are you out of your tree? The modern Western woman, let me preface that appropriately. If you want to go abroad, if you want to travel abroad, ladies, then by all means, okay? Because most modern women that you're going to see here probably has a body count somewhere north of 20, has a whole bunch of red flags. If they aren't tattooed on her body, they're probably in her glove compartment. Those women aren't marriage material. And you don't want to be bringing a kid raised by a single mother or a single father into this world. You want to make sure that that bond is strong before you create another life. That is not taken seriously enough. Just this whole stupid thing with, oh, just take on the responsibility of a wife. These women out here aren't wife material. Do your screening appropriately. Actively train up your children to thrive in and help them build a life throughout their life, culminating with leaving them an inheritance. Inheritance doesn't have to be financial. You don't want to spoil your kids. You don't just want to set them up, but you don't want to set them up for financial failure, okay? Because you know those trust fund babies that are out there, okay, who just blow through their inheritance, okay, without having any tangible skills. You need to cultivate that work ethic, okay? You need to cultivate those skills, that passion, that desire that made you a desirable man. That's what you bestow. That is the inheritance that you give your children before you give them any fiduciary gain. Simple? Anyways, invest in your community, such as volunteering at church, civic organization, or charity. And again, find a community worth investing in, by the way. Okay, find institutions that you think are worthy to prop up, okay? Not saying any of those are necessarily bad, but yeah. A lot of those are just bureaucratic nonsense, but good networking capabilities and good networking opportunities, but choose wisely. Choose wisely. That's the big takeaway from those last 3 points. Do proper vetting, okay? Don't just be giving into your instinct. And also, yeah, that's another good tenet about being a man, exhibiting strong, positive masculinity. Don't be subject to the whims of your emotion. Men are logical creatures. You got to deal with women who are emotional creatures, okay? Your rationality will always overcome feelings, because one moment you could be sad, but then the next moment you're laughing. You can use that to your advantage, but that's a topic for another video. Anyways, not every healthy man will do each of these things. You should, though. You really should. But there's still plenty of room for men to develop healthy masculinity in America today, building a worthy life for themselves, their community, and their prosperity. Weird. I was expecting to not like this so much, but again, it's got some of those neocon, tradcon inklings towards the end of it, where it's like, oh yeah, just get on the responsibility wagons. But then, yeah, not telling you to vet anything properly, not telling you to pursue everything that's out there, okay? Maximize your strengths, hone in on who you are, and then start to develop from there. So, not a bad article, but required a heck of a lot of clarification. That's why this video ended up being so long. But take that information, men, if you are the ones watching this video, as YouTube is an overwhelmingly male-centric platform. Take that information, do with it what you will over this weekend. Don't be succumbing to any one of those stupid sedatives that you might have, okay? Sitting down with a 6-pack of beer and a large pizza and scarfing it down, that is preventing you from achieving greatness. Don't let that stand in your way. Short-term pleasure sacrifices your long-term accomplishments. Let that sink in. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.